Divine Spirit of all love, perfect, holy light of God, the remembering of this truth is the only true purpose of time. Time has no meaning. All the meaning that has been given to time has been made up based on the belief of proving your worth, proving that you count, proving that you're right about the past, and that you believe that, as every beloved in humanity believes, that you are here to win. Because time is held firmly within the belief of scarcity, it is always a contest within the belief of separation. It always shows itself as a competition. Because when you believe that there is not enough, everything becomes a competition for getting. And the getting isn't limited to material possessions. That's just one of the many factions. But the getting is about worth. What would there be to strive for without the belief that you needed to get worth, prove worth? Imagine the peace and harmony that you would discover if you truly let go and surrendered the belief in trying to prove worth. In every aspect of the belief of incarnation, it is about proving worth. Culture, countries, families, all based on the belief of proving worth. Shame and guilt also arise from proving worth. Failure, the belief that there can be failure, the belief that there can be a winner and a loser, the belief that some have failed, or maybe all have failed, is the great lie that the world spins on. The belief in wrongdoing, the belief in sin, the belief in condemnation, all hidden under different layers of proving and winning, and all held together with the glue of the belief of death. Love is calling to you. The universe of love is calling to every beloved to put down the swords that don't look like swords, that look like trophies, disguised as trophies, but really swords. The universe of love is calling to every beloved's heart to return the heart to the oneness, to bring the heart into a merging into one heart. And all the perception of being so dispirited will disappear. As each beloved is recognized as the holiness of God. And the only place that this can be recognized is within your own heart, in the surrender of your mind. Surrendering the mind back to God and affirming that from moment to moment in the everyday life, you want the voice of God to speak so that you can hear and listen and offer that love through every word, through every thought that is of God's. God's word, God's thought. And questioning every thought, is this a thought of God? Did God bring me this thought? Or is it coming from my past of what I thought I knew? And every reaction, asking, what is the origin of this reaction? What idea of the past has developed into this reaction? And surrendering it into the hands of God again and again and again, moment to moment, surrendering. So much surrender that if another beloved were to ask you, how was your day? What was it for? All that would be there would be, it was a day of surrender. A day of communion, a day of forgiveness, a day of trust, trusting in God, trusting in the teachings of love, and listening, intently listening to be shown the way back to the heart of love. This is the center of peace that opens to your divine being of peace. Peace must be first accepted in the everyday moment before it can be recognized and realized as what you truly are, moment to moment. Recognizing that and accepting that the only use of time is to surrender time into the hands of the Spirit of love, to be used for divine teachings, learning, and listening. Offering love. The only task, offering love. The ease of life, the joy of life, the peace of life, offering love. Moment to moment. In deep gratitude, recognizing I must be so loved to have received blessed teachings that lead me home after all the lifetimes of walking in darkness, walking in pain and suffering, in the belief of battle. The willingness for this lifetime to be wholly dedicated to love's purpose. Gladly, happily, surrendering into the bonfire of love all the old beliefs of attaining recognition and purpose in this world, believing that the trite, petty ideas of the world's accomplishments can finally be laid to rest as the voice of love calls you deeper and deeper into the recognition and learning of oneness. Heaven is here. Heaven is truly all that there is. Imagine heaven, a place, a state of being and consciousness, a state of love, where there is no pride, no greed, no vengeance, no battle, no suspicions, no lies, no fears. And this, as you learn to rest in God and allow the power of God to move through you and with you, leads you back to that exquisite heaven that is here now. The journey of surrendering the past and surrendering the future is essential. It can be a tug of war if you choose it to be. The resistance of your mind, of your knowing, of the arrogance of the ego can propel you into a tug of war that is painful. The resistance, the arrogance of I know, and the habit of the mind that loves to confirm how much it knows, and is even always seeking to know more, to figure things out. The wheel of suffering is in the knowing. And love is calling now to come home and rest, to rest in love, to rest in trust, to truly accept that you cannot be hurt, that you cannot be diminished, that you cannot lose, that there is no loss, no diminishment, no hurt. All of that has been conjured up as an identity to say no to God. The willingness to no longer battle, to hold on to pain and suffering as a badge of courage from the past, wanting an identity that says, look what I survived, instead of thank God, my nightmare is ending, because it was not of God. In this moment, the peace of love is all that there is. Resting the mind in the heart of God and resting the heart in the heart of God. The wanting to know is an addiction that humanity holds that becomes greater than any perceived addiction that has ever been in this world. The wanting to know, the need to know, the need to be right, all comes from the same place, the fear of pain and suffering. Step by step, love is wanting to lead you. Step by step, as you deepen trust in God, no longer willing to trust the past or trust what you thought you knew. The defiance of the ego that says, I will decide. I am the one who knows. And the I of the ego begins to slowly disappear as that is no longer honored as having worth or validity. Step by step, moment by moment, opening to the divine teachings of love. No longer willing to listen to the thoughts of separation and the energies of the body that confirm the mind's wild imaginings, but willing, here I rest in the truth of God. Here I rest in love. And here I bless and offer comfort and love to every beloved in every moment. Step by step, moment by moment, in the divine ease of humility that happily relinquishes the investment in identity. And in this moment, affirming and accepting that this universe is all love. Nothing else exists. The sanctuary is filled with love because love is called to be the blessing of all life, the truth of all life, the way of all life, the light of all life. There is only one presence here. It is the life force of God. And within this life force, we live and move and breathe as one. Opening to the life force of God has nothing to do with the body, but everything in the spirit, the divine spirit. Using the body as a temporary temple to serve love. Opening to the divine spirit in all life. And embracing and merging into that divine spirit with all life. Letting go of all the various forms, levels, and degrees, and the perceived differences that have been made up to keep the game going in the belief of value that is given in the temporary world of pain and suffering. Step by step, affirming that here in the infinite circle of love we are one. Nothing else is true. And in this infinite circle of love, there is no competition. In this infinite circle of love, there is no jealousy. There is no suspicion. There is no fear. Infinite circle of love. And at the center, the divine truth of God. One. One heart in devotion. One truth. One life. To open to the loving arms of God, to open to the loving presence of all life, it is essential to have the willingness to invite that light to be remembered. And even though you are that light because it's been forgotten, it must be re-invited because the door was closed and there was a no. No of a separate self. The no that said, I know I am separate. And now the yes, to return to the awareness of perfect light. In the simplicity of love, the willingness to embrace the tenderness of love and all of its divine alchemy of love's healing, moment to moment. I feel your tenderness, I feel your tenderness. I feel the tenderness of your ever-loving hand. I feel the tenderness. I feel your tenderness. I feel the tenderness from deep within. I feel your mercy, Lord. I feel your mercy, Lord. I feel your mercy, Lord, of your ever-loving hand. I feel the mercy, Lord. I feel your mercy, Lord. I feel your mercy, Lord, from deep within. I see your beauty, Lord. I see your beauty, Lord. I see your beauty, Lord, of your ever-loving hand. I see your beauty, Lord. I see your beauty, Lord. I see your beauty, Lord, from deep within. I sense the truth, O Lord. I sense the truth, O Lord. I sense your truth, O Lord, of your ever-loving hand. I sense your truth, O Lord. I sense your truth, O Lord. I sense your truth, O Lord, from deep within. Deep within, in the quiet stillness, as the chatter of the mind is laid aside, of its weaving, bobbing, battling intentions laid aside, surrendered to God, coming into the stillness by choice, opening to that divine communion, and allowing love to show you the way. For love to show you the way of opening your heart and the willingness of your divine yes, to be willing to have your heart opened by love itself, willing in every moment. To accept this teaching in this prayer is to accept the truth of humanity's perfection and light beyond the name humanity, but as the oneness of God, where the human form becomes irrelevant, used for a while to serve love's remembering, until every beloved returns to the light of love. And to accept deeply, I am life. I am the path. I am the pure and eternal love. I am the doorway to the truth of love. I am the way back to God. In my willingness, I am here, I am there, I am everywhere where beloveds are gathered in the name of love. I am. I am the light. I am the torchbearer. I am the divine and happy learner of love. I am the child. I am the Spirit of God. I am, I am, I am. Sua vida, sou caminho, eu sou pura, eterno amor. Sou a chave da porta estreita que vos leva de volta ao Senhor. Estou aqui, eu estou lá, eu estou sempre em todo lugar. Onde estiver irmãos reunidos em meu nome, eu ali estou. Sou a luz, sou o tocheiro, eu sou o mestre ensinador. Sou Filho, sou Pai, sou Espírito Santo, sou vosso Redentor. What does it take to accept that you are the light of God? It only takes a yes. But in that yes, in that acceptance, you live as the light of God. You no longer try to serve two masters, serving the mind of littleness and pettiness, the mind of separation, the mind of fear. But now you've accepted, I am the light. And this light must shine. I am the light, but I did not make the light. And I pay homage always to the Creator of light. I live as the light because light is. Accepting the light and living the light is essential. To accept the light as the truth of who you are is essential. But living as the light is the coming home. And learning the truth of the light is the schoolroom of love. Letting the Spirit of love teach you the truth of light, the truth of love, the truth of peace. Being available at the foot of the teacher with the humble heart that has just one purpose: to learn the truth of love, to return home as the heart continues just to say yes, 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 yes. Yes, Judith. All in all in all. Could you help me with this? The ant said to an elephant when a large seed the ant was dragging back to its nest got stuck between some grass. The elephant, looking down and feeling kind-hearted that day, began to contemplate all that might be needed to render some service. But the task just seemed too delicate and in need of more precision than the elephant's trunk or one of his feet or even his tail or one of his grand ears could handle effectively. So the elephant began to pray for divine intervention. And sure enough, it worked, or it seemed to. A berry on a nearby bush happened to fall in such a way as to free the seed from its onward destination. The elephant's faith in God was increased. And the ant, having heard the prayer, was now less of an agnostic, which he had been for the last year or so because of personal reasons that he would rather keep private. All in all, seems things are moving ahead, working out for the best. All in all. The elephant began to pray. The beloved teaching here is to really recognize that the elephant found prayer because the elephant in that one moment realized he didn't know and turned to God. He could have gotten frustrated. He could have gotten upset. He could have turned away. He could have held shame and guilt for not being more adept personally. But instead, he turned to prayer and recognized divine intervention is what is always the most helpful, the easiest way to return to love and faith and blessings. And the ant, having been an agnostic, had his heart touched and was no longer so sure of himself and his personal reasons. Giving up the personal is the way of love. How is that possible in a world that seems to be completely engrossed in the personal? The I, the me, myself, and I, is the center of the universe in the belief of separation. The me, myself, and I, everything is about that. Everything is about how do I make up for the past? How do I keep myself safe while I try to make up for the past in my own personal way? And beloveds, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, keep spinning in those same circles, focusing on the me, myself, and I. The me, myself, and I, it doesn't reveal itself that clearly. It's hidden under different purposes, different obligations, different rules, different ideas of what's important, what's not important, all made up, but held strongly in the belief that this is real. But love keeps calling, God keeps calling to pray and ask for that divine intervention of what you know, so that you can walk with peace and harmony and truly accept the healing of love. Healing is an acceptance. It isn't something you're going to figure out. What the world does is, and every beloved in that world, they go through, and everybody does it, everybody goes through the ideas of figuring out how to heal and wanting to be right about it, to be somehow in charge of the healing, to figure it out like you've tried to figure out all the ailments of the body and how to heal energetically and use your mind and use your ideas and use concepts all over the place. But love's healing, the remembering of the perfection that you divinely are as the Spirit of God, can't use any of those tactics because they're just part of the conceptual idea of winning and losing in the world. How does healing occur? It really is the most amazing thing. Healing occurs through the willingness to invite in healing, to invite the divine physician, which is love, to heal your mind of its belief in sickness. Now, what the mind then begins to do is to say, oh, well, that'll be cool, because when I surrender my mind, then the body will become like Superman. And I'll be just super as a body. But the true healing sometimes does filter down into the body, but it's not really the essential element of healing. To heal the mind and return to peace and to awareness of love and to be that divine light and love is the healing. If a beloved who was paralyzed surrendered into the hands of God, everything that they thought that they knew, they may or may not walk. It doesn't really matter, except as it serves healing for humanity. But the healing is in the joy and peace that is found in the truth of love, when it's the absence of fear, the absence of a separate identity, and the body is no longer held as the essential element. The healing is the heart. When you offer your heart into the hands of God and surrender all what you thought you knew into the hands of God, healing occurs. Because healing is never not given when it is invited. Step by step, whether it's the ant or the elephant, it comes through the genuine prayer, the humility of the heart that says, I don't know anything. Everything that I thought I knew is a pack of lies. Everything that I thought I held as an identity was a pack of lies. Not to be condemned, not to be berated, not to be punished, but to be let go into the hands of God, released from the imprisonment of a self-made identity. But in the journey of healing, in the journey of remembering, there is such a strong attachment to the identity. There is such a fierce sense of protecting the identity that when God comes near, the ego reacts with the cry for battle. The cry for battle that says, I'm not giving up without a fight. I am protecting my territory. And therein is all the resistance to love's calling. Then, of course, the ego doesn't show this blatantly, because or else the seeker of love, the longing for love would say, whoa, wait a minute. This isn't my friend. This is a self-attack. So it does it in a more subtle way of being right and proving worth. Those are always good hooks. Prayer is so powerful that it has no limit. And what is it for? It isn't really for God to hear your prayer. It's for you to recognize that you are willing and that you want to surrender, that you're willing to surrender and ask for the help of a power that is beyond your comprehension. That you're willing to put your trust, your faith in a power that you're not really knowing, but that you are actually trusting the masters that have brought all the teachings in whatever way that they've brought them. You're trusting. You're putting your faith and your trust in those teachings, and you're following. When love says, love must be constantly offered, as each situation presents itself. Love must be constantly offered. This is a doorway. When you humbly accept a teaching such as this, like every teaching, and you pray, love can enter. Love can serve you because you've said, yes, I'm inviting you in, and that is essential. When you defend and you protect your knowing of being right, most of the time just blatantly through fear, love can't enter. Love can't answer anything because it isn't really invited. If you want to decide for yourself, Spirit will leave you to choose for yourself. It will not interfere. It can't interfere with your choice. It can't. If it could interfere with your choice, you would not have free will. And you would then be seeing yourself as being coerced by a power bigger than you, like a bully, that you wouldn't be making the choice. The choice is essential. The choice is the essential element, because without that choice, love can't enter. That is the purpose of prayer. It's the invitation. It's the recognition within that you are willing to invite in help. A power that is the power of the universe. Do what I cannot do, heal my mind. Do what I cannot do, heal my heart. Do what I cannot do, show me the way. And that little I begins to disappear. And the more that the little I disappears, the more you are opening to the I am of oneness. As the blocks that have been made in the name of separation and fear are surrendered, are recognized and surrendered. And they do need to be recognized. That's part of the essential healing also. You can't live in a place of pretending, of rescue, of the belief of magic. Our beliefs that we've made up to defend ourselves against oneness have to be brought into illumination so that we can clearly make the choice. I don't want this anymore. And to see it with honesty for what we've made out of it. It's essential. It's part of the humility of saying, I was mistaken. Not I was wrong, not I was a sinner, not I was bad, not I was condemned, but I was mistaken. I was choosing something that had no reality. And now I see it, and now I surrender it. I gladly see it. I gladly see my mistake. Just as if I was mistakenly going down an off-ramp of a freeway and I found out that it wasn't the right one, and I get back on the freeway back again. It's just a mistake. The ego wants to convince you that your mistakes are offenses that have no way out, that they are a condemnation. Because the belief in hatred, the belief in attack, the belief in condemnation is the domain of the separate ego identity. Forgiveness comes from within. It's given to you by God for you to recognize that forgiveness is necessary of yourself, to forgive yourself for being mistaken about who you thought you were, what you thought you were, and what you thought everybody else and everything else was too. I was mistaken. Glorious words, a glorious breath of fresh air. I was mistaken. Oops, I was mistaken. And in that surrender, peace returns. Because when you believe in sin, when you believe in wrongdoing, and you have projected it out to the world as everybody else sinning so that you can hold yourself as righteous in a defense, you're still attacking yourself. It's still a self-attack, because all the projection that you could ever do actually never accomplishes anything except that it holds the two of you, or what you see to be two of you, in the same belief of condemnation. The same guilt is always there. You're not getting rid of guilt. You're just projecting it into a story on someone else. And in that pain, you suffer. Suffering that has no purpose, no reality at all. All suffering is self-made in the name of the belief of sin and condemnation. It doesn't show itself that way. If it showed itself that way, you'd see it pretty quickly. So it hides in smoke and mirrors and ideas within the world. Being unfairly treated in the world is one of the ego's favorites, and it raises itself up constantly to prove that you're right about your past. But if you believe that you are unfairly treated, in this you project images and stories of lack in your everyday life. That's what ends up showing up. That's the filter that you end up seeing through. Are images and stories of lack in the everyday life. And it's as if you have a voice in your head that's saying constantly and whispering in your ear, you see, do you see, do you see, do you see, you're right, you're right, you're right. Proving again, proving again, proving again, you're right. And staying in that cycle of pain and suffering that is not the truth of love in any way. Nothing of it. When you really accept that you truly want to heal. I said to a beloved today, sometimes what's really necessary is a strong place within that becomes an advocate in a way that you would be surprised by. And that advocate is the voice that says, enough. Enough of this game that I play with my mind. Enough of this vicious cycle that I put myself into of believing something is outside that is causing this disturbance. Enough. It doesn't matter what the form of it takes on. It can take on the form of jealousy of another. It can take on the form of blame of somebody else for your misery. It can take on the form of the belief of scarcity, of lack, of the fear of lack. It can take on the fear of death. It can take on the fear that grief is real, that sadness is valid, that reactions are valid. It can take on all these forms. But the power of that you carry within you that is able to say, enough. I don't want this. I don't want this. And that strength within you comes from a strength of trusting in the truth of God. Where it just becomes, I'm tired of it. I just don't want this anymore. I want to use every moment for remembering. I don't want to keep spinning in the same circles. If you want to heal, every beloved has to come to the realization to stop the vicious game of right and wrong. You must surrender the belief in projection. It is essential because projection is the breeding ground of all battle. Projection of the past. And this is the deepest place of the belief of separation is the belief of the past, that you are what you believe your past tells you that you are. That you believe all the pain and suffering that you carried, that you believe every incident and every situation of the past, and you hold it firmly as your reality. In the journey of healing, it was the greatest leap of faith to truly surrender what I believed was this past into the hands of God and affirmed within that it could not be the truth, that it could not be reality. that if I accepted the teachings of love, if I accepted the teachings of all the masters, then my belief of what I identified so deeply with of the past, every moment of the belief of torture, every moment of the belief of total terror was a lie. I didn't know how. I didn't know how that was possible. I could not use my mind to make sense of it. I had to trust in the masters that brought all the teachings of love and truly accept that it was not the truth and that it had no reality at all. None. And in that leap of faith, the past disappeared. It disappeared because it never existed. And only the love remained. The brightness, the beauty, the light of every beloved that I had walked with through all lifetimes was all love, and returned into the oneness of the heart in my acceptance of the truth of love. That an entire identity could disappear because I said yes, because I truly accepted that it could not be the truth, that I could not be that identity and be the light of God. Those two elements could not be reconciled. One was a belief of complete pain and suffering, and the other was a trust, not an awareness. Glimpses, yes, but not an awareness, but a trust, a faith that every teaching of every master was the truth. And in a humility that could not even be accepted by the mind itself, heart, refusing to any longer believe the past in all of its identity. To stop blaming, to stop projecting, to stop the mind from its insidious attacks of pain and suffering, was to surrender the mind and truly want the mind to be returned to God, and for the heart to be opened to the truth of love and wanting nothing else. Every beloved has this within them. There is no one who cannot remember the truth of God. No one. But when you follow teachings, if you want to heal and stop the vicious game of right and wrong, you have to surrender all the beliefs of projection and want the light of truth, of wisdom, of clarity to reveal to you in any moment that you begin to project that you do not want to engage in that any longer. to accept as deeply as possible that if there is pain and suffering, it is being made up by the mind in the belief of separation, nothing else. And then the healing can truly blast open, because it isn't any longer being delayed by the distraction of believing that something's going on out there. And to surrender all the shame and all the belief in guilt that holds every beloved as a prisoner in the belief of separation. All the belief of all the thoughts of hatred and all the thoughts of resentment and blame and anger and everything else, and greed and envy and jealousy that the mind has made and used in its secret ideas and secret thoughts, all surrendered, no longer willing to hold shame and guilt as reality, and to free everyone in forgiveness from any wrongdoing, from any idea that anyone has done anything to change the brilliance and perfection of their true self in oneness. One of the keys of healing is the realization that while you defend the past, you're basically saying, I have too much to lose. I want to hold on to the past and the pain and the suffering. I want to remain an identity. This heart found that place that said, I have nothing to lose by accepting that only love is real. I have absolutely nothing to lose by accepting that everything is the light of God. I have nothing to lose by putting all my faith and all my trust in the power of God. That's the easy road. I have nothing to lose by accepting that everything that this mind thinks on its own is insane and has no value, no worth. Not as a condemnation, just as honesty. That only love has value. I will not value what is valueless, and I want to recognize what I have made up in order to truly surrender it. I want, with honesty, to let the Holy Spirit shine its light on everything that I hold as a subtle defense system in some way, and truly want to be healed. The truth and experience of pure love, the truth and experience of pure love without conditions, to love without conditions, which means you don't have to do anything to earn this. I will offer love, let it pour through, because there is nothing that has to be given back or proven in any way. In any way, love without conditions. That experience and truth of pure love without condition can only begin in your heart, not with someone else. Not looking for it to begin with someone else, but has to begin and be expressed through your own heart, to be discovered. If you are looking for others to meet you in the right place, or be in alignment with you, or agree with you, or be simpatico with you. It's a hook that will just take you down the road of misery, because it has to be offered from within. That is your healing. That is your way to return to the truth of love, is by offering love without conditions. To look for love in a world of fear is a setup. And it will always bring a sense of failure. When you look for love, when you look for acceptance, when you look for agreement and others to prove how much they love you, or how much they respect you, or how much they care for you, when you look for that outside, or to treat you well, if you start by looking for it outside, it will always, because you're looking for it in a world of fear, it will always give you a sense of failure, because the secret is within you. The place of redemption, the place of healing is within you. As you offer love, it is the most extraordinary divine alchemy of healing that you will experience. Because as you offer love without conditions, without expecting anything, and not carrying and refusing to carry the belief that you can be unfairly treated by the world, but that you must love. I must love. In that calling to bring forth that love, God's love, through your heart, the entire universe changes for you. You don't see through lack anymore. You don't see through needing others to approve of you or get something, because your heart is filled with love. And you see the blessings and the perfection and the call for love everywhere. And your compassion bursts. Compassion that you had no awareness of bursts through, because love is finding itself from within you. The light of God is pouring through you because you want God's love, the truth of your love, to express itself. And you want to offer that love. And when you want to offer that love, which means you have no judgments, no opinions, no assessments, no reactions. You don't know what to look at, what to think of anything. You don't have any opinions. Love just comes bursting through. And the compassion of love pours on everyone. Not pity. Don't mistake pity for compassion. Pity is the ego's domain that says, oh, poor thing, you're such a mess. No, it's going way beyond seeing anything but the love and the light and the strength of God in each beloved. The pureness, the innocence of every beloved. And the freedom and the beauty and the breathtaking life of recognizing everything is here. Everything is here. There's nothing to get. My yes to God. That's all that's being asked for, is your yes to God. Your yes. You are the light of God, and you want to offer that love. Blessing everyone, blessing everything. as the light of God. And then you return home. Love always heals. Fear always imprisons and condemns. It becomes very simple, very simple. Am I offering peace? Am I offering joy and harmony? Am I experiencing peace? Are these thoughts of peace? If not, they're made up. And you can choose, and you must choose in order to come back to and learn of your natural state of love. Your natural state of love. And in that awareness, you are no longer you. The identity starts to disappear. And it's nothing to be afraid of. Nothing at all to be afraid of. It's just a costume. It's a costume of identity that you made for this lifetime. You've made possibly hundreds of costumes in past lifetimes. Doesn't matter what they look like. They were all made up just to express different elements of separation and the belief of being without. None of them are real. This one is no more real than the last one. How could you have left that one behind and not want to hang on to that? Why want to hang on to this one? Your brightness, your beauty, your light, your love, the light that you are is so magnificent. It's the entire universe, and the entire universe is within you, and you're settling for a small little ant of an ID instead of the light of God that you truly are. And the recognition of that light is to keep opening your heart and pouring love without conditions, offering love, blessing every moment as perfect, and that there's nothing to know about any moment except the willingness to offer love. Does the ego love to use terror as its resistance? Absolutely. Absolutely loves it. Loves it in all of its various ideas of irritation, annoyance, judgments, assessments, opinions, not realizing that all of that is like a personal attack on yourself. That's all that it is. You think it's accomplishing something. All it accomplishes is to affirm, I'm without. I am unloved and I'm separate. And none of it is true. And love keeps calling you. Love keeps calling you to constantly offer love in each situation. And be here. This moment is all that there is, and it's all love. When you are in your beliefs of assessments and irritations and judgments, it's all familiar, and it's all being in the past. You can only truly be here. Love is only here. There is no love in the past. And there's nothing in the future because it doesn't exist. No more than the past existed. This is the moment of love. To embrace this moment of love. The yes. There is only one way out of the circle of blame. It is to stop blaming and to truly forgive. And when you think that you can't go any deeper in forgiveness, you surrender it again to God and ask to be taken deeper. until you recognize that you're not forgiving anything that was ever anything. That there is nothing to forgive because there is only love. And you accept that freedom. And you can walk in the light moment to moment. Only one heart, all in all, one with every ant, one with every elephant, one in all love.